Welcome back. It's been a while.
That's the
3,
way.
2, 1. I like it. Action. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Whine.
And Whine. I'm Gabby.
And I'm Joe. And today we are going to be talking about
Body positivity.
As a reminder, this isn't a one-size-fits-all type of thing.
Right. We are not experts in your lives. We are not experts in really anything that we talk about here. Not about our wine. I'm not even drinking wine today, but I'll get into that. But take what you see here, what you like, keep it. What you don't like, throw it out, and pretend we never even said it.
Yeah, just ignore it. Just like we do a lot of things.
Our feelings, especially. No, don't do that. Never mind.
That was. We'll start with what we're drinking. I think I started last time. You can tell yours first.
So, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not drinking wine today. I am drinking kombucha, I think. It doesn't officially say kombucha, but it says a sparkling probiotic drink. This is from Kavita. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm currently doing this thing with Lifetime. It's called Detox, like D.tox, there's no E. It's just supposed to help cleanse your body and your system. So I'm minimizing my pro-inflammatory foods, one of them being alcohol. So no alcohol for me for another week.
I, on the other hand, no detox here. So I am drinking my choice of drink all the time, sparkling Moscato. This time from, the brand is called Rosada. I don't know if I said that right.
That stuff is so good. It tastes like juice.
That's why I love it.
So if you're 21 in America, or the legal drinking age in any other country, you should try it.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's yummy.
So I'm gonna take a little sippy sip.
Yes.
Cheers.
We do actually drink our drinks.
We do. Cheers.
Body positivity. What does that mean? How do we even define body positivity?
Oh, good question. I mean, I feel like all about just like, I was gonna say loving your body. I feel like that's so like generic.
It is. It's true though.
Yeah.
Like it's generic, but that's a lot harder or a lot easier said than done. Like it's harder to just put in practice, like love your body. And then you can get even deeper, like, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah. And I guess maybe too, like accepting what you have and working to like improve that.
Mm-hmm.
Your current image or how you look right now. And that's not really like tearing yourself down because of what you see in like social media or like what you see around you. It's all about not being content necessarily, but just acceptance of who you are and what you look like. And
Absolutely.
Doing improvements if you need to, but yeah.
And I think with the body positivity movement specifically, so not just the idea of body positivity, but the movement is having representation of all shapes and sizes and body like markings too, and abilities and disabilities. So seeing that in whether it's advertising or in movies, shows, I think that's what the whole movement's about too.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, like as we were starting, like I feel like it's gonna be so weird watching a video about body positivity from like two like skinny girls.
Yeah. And we've had this conversation before, like personally, how like I feel like I don't belong in the body positivity movement, that it's not for me just because I fit under the category of like fit. I'm very muscly, but at the same time I still have insecurities about my body. And we're gonna talk about like insecurities and not feeding into them, but at the same time I feel like my body shape isn't always the most represented. Like I'm more muscly than the average girl, I think, whereas like throughout history the body type that's been more celebrated or seen is like skinny.
Like
I'm not that
thigh gap, flat stomach, skinny.
Yeah.
That's where my like insecurities came from too, because obviously I used to have like fast metabolism, so I was like skinny, you know,
Mm-hmm.
flat stomach, no issue, no like worries about like if I wore some specific clothing that my fat's gonna, not fat, but like
Body.
something's gonna like pop out. But now that I've gained weight, that's definitely a struggle of like, I'm not skinny anymore, and so that means I'm not pretty anymore. So it's a learning curve, but that's why we're here to talk about.
Yeah. And like, it's so weird that we think that our body's supposed to look the same way it did in high school throughout like our entire life. Like how you're saying how you used to be skinnier and you gained some weight. It's like, okay, that's natural. Like you're growing. And I don't know why I believe like, okay, well in high school I only weighed this many pounds. Like, okay, you also did gymnastics for 30 hours a week. Like, you barely had a period because you were so low in body fat. Like, that's bad. That's unhealthy. Yeah. So it's like accepting that your body is going to change and it should change. One thing that I wanted to talk about specifically was like pregnancy and like post-baby bodies. So I work in a gym and I talk to a lot of women who have kids and they're like, oh, well, my tummy just doesn't look the same as when it did before I had kids. And I'm like, okay, can we just talk about the amazing thing that you did of having a child, of growing a full human being in your belly, and then the pain of like getting it out. And you think that like your body is then just supposed to look like nothing happened when you did like the miracle of life.
Right.
Like, love your body and love like the amazing thing that it just did, and know that like your tummy might look a little bit different, but it's also proof that you did something incredible.
And I feel like social media feeds a lot into that, because we see a lot of like celebrities like that have had kids recently, and after a few months they look amazing, like nothing had happened. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of work goes into that, but I feel like there's also other factors that play into that. Like they're supposed to look a certain way because that's where their income comes from, and stuff like that really feeds into like a lot of just this idea of like you're supposed to look a certain way after such like a drastic event where like you literally pushed out a human being out of you, and now you're expected to look hot and like like how you did.
You still look hot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
But also like when you bring up social media, it's like that's not real. Like a lot of what you see on social media is not real. It's edited. And I'm not saying that going through surgery or having procedures to change your body is bad. I think it's only bad when it's not specified or like they don't own it.
Right.
I feel like is a problem.
Like they sell it as like, this is how I look.
Yeah, I just worked really hard and this is what my natural body looks like. So if your natural body doesn't look like that, like
I 100% agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you had work done, please say you had work done.
And I feel like it's nothing to be ashamed of. Like if you have the funds and if you like want to do it for you, then go for it. But the whole idea of like naturally having like a snatched waist and like a big butt, I mean, yeah, there are people that are built like that, but if you're not, like, say that, because there are a lot of young girls obviously on social media that are so impressionable, and they see this and they're like, I should look like that, I need to look like that, because all these people that I look up to look like that.
Yeah.
So why shouldn't I try to do that? Because, you know, they look up to these people, so I feel like I agree, like going up to it. And
or like as celebrities get older and they get more work done, younger girls might think that's just like naturally what maturing looks like. Yeah. Like, oh, once I hit puberty, like my butt is gonna be really big and my waist is gonna be snatched and my lips are gonna be full and my nose is gonna be skinny, and like that's not the case. That like other external procedures happened. And I know we're talking a lot about females right now, and that's because we are both females. But I did want to bring up like the male perspective that I recently kind of just got to dip my toe in a little bit because I work with, first of all, I work with like all guys. And it like was news to me that actually a lot of guys use steroids.
Oh my gosh.
And it kind of goes into the same thing of like girls getting work done and guys using steroids and not claiming that. And they just say like, oh yeah, if you just work really hard and get your diet right, you'll be like as big as me. And it's like, no, you like, you're enhanced. You have something extra that is making you that big. And realizing that guys are insecure about that too, that they feel the pressure to put a foreign substance into their body in order for their physique to look a specific way. And there's health consequences because of that. So like your hair can thin out, like apparently like back and chest acne is a side effect of using steroids or testosterone or something. I don't know all about that. Not an expert of any of that. But the fact that they're convinced, or that society has convinced males that like, oh, all of those negative side effects are worth it because you're going to be bigger and musclier and more masculine is so sad. Musclier.
It is. And I never really like thought about that. I mean, obviously I have men in my life, but I feel like it's just so easy to get lost in like your own insecurities that you don't realize. Because I remember my brother, or no, I don't think it was my brother that said, I think it was like family members that said that like my brother was like gaining weight. And I'm like, why does that matter? Like, he still looks good and he's like fairly active. And so I feel like that shouldn't matter. And I just didn't really think about how that affects guys. Because obviously, like, ideally, like, you want, like, the society paints it as like, if you're a guy, you need to be like all muscular and buff and ripped. Those are all the same things. But
at least you didn't say musclier.
That's a new word. Don't take it. We're what's the word? We're
Trademarking. Copywriting.
Yes.
But you were talking about how like someone commented on like your brother gaining weight. Just know that your body is doing a million other things other than gaining or losing weight. That like I look at it at a science perspective of like physiology and anatomy, that your body is doing so many processes just to keep you alive. Like your breathing, your lymphatic system, you're digesting things, you're talking and learning and literally growing taller or wider, or your bones are getting more dense. Like, that's amazing. Like, looking at your body at like a cellular level to see like just how incredible like your body is. And it's so much more than like how much body fat or how much muscle you have on your frame. Like, that's like the least of your worries.
I really love that. Like you said earlier that you were kind of gonna include some like scientific aspects to it, and we don't think about that because we don't see it and we don't really what's the word, like pay attention to it as much because our body just does it, you know. It's just like an everyday thing.
It just does it. Like, there's this part in your brain where all of the involuntary systems are controlled, and it just does it.
And that's like part of being human, you know. You like just do it, and you're so focused on like the outside and how you look on the outside. And I feel like we need to be more, what's the word, like we need to cut ourselves more slack and like be okay, not be okay, but be accepting. Like, that's like my word for this video. Accepting. Be accepting of like how you look, because your body's doing so much more. And I was thinking about like how I mentioned earlier that I used to be like skinny in high school. Like, I'm so glad I gained weight. This was like my goal because I was just so skinny like my whole life, and I still look skinny, but I feel like it's really healthy for me now that like I'm not as skinny as I used to, because then I feel like I have more energy and all of that, you know. And helping my body, because being that small at my age was not, that wasn't healthy. Like I felt bad not being able to donate blood like at school, because I would be like underweight.
Really?
Yeah, I was very much underweight, and so I'd be like, I could never donate blood. I don't think I can yet, but just because of my age range and like how much I weigh.
Yeah.
And that's so weird. I'm like, I don't want to be not fat, but I don't want to gain weight. And I'm like, no, I want to donate blood. It's such like a weird battle inside the noggin.
Yeah. And like how you said, how you have more energy now. Like, I once read that eating healthy and exercising right, like taking care of your body, like your physical needs, are like a form of self-respect, right? Like taking care of yourself, because you literally are what you eat. Like the food that you eat, if we're like still looking at it from a science perspective, the contents and the nutrients, the chemical makeup of the food that you eat literally turns into other cells in your body. It doesn't just go in and out. Like, that would be useless. Your body actually absorbs the nutrients in it. So that's why, like, it's respectful to yourself to feed it good things and to give it enough water and to try to get enough sleep and to sweat daily. Now, does that mean that if you eat junk food that you you have no self-respect? Like, no, absolutely not. Like, I just ate half a pint of ice cream before this. It means that, like, you're also listening to how you feel. On this detox thing that I'm doing, I felt like I was going mentally crazy for not eating, like, corn and milk and dairy and, like, 7 things that I'm not supposed to have. I was like, you know what? I'm going to loosen it up a little bit, because mentally I'm going nuts, and physically, like, I think I can afford it. Yeah. So by, like, being nice to yourself in both ways, being nice enough to eat more than just junk food, but nice enough to allow yourself junk food when you want it.
Yeah, and that's a big thing that my sisters and I always talk about, that, like, I feel like you can eat whatever you want, but you gotta, like, listen to your body, like you said. Like, you gotta know your body's limitations, and if you're starting to feel like, oh, this might not be helping me out right now, then, like, kind of cut back on it and, like, focus on, like, I don't know, eating healthier alternatives. Because I tend to do that, because I get stuck on, like, eating, like, chips and kind of, like, just, like, junk food, and then I start feeling like I don't have an appetite, or, like, my stomach's all weird and I feel a little bit weaker, and so I'll, like, switch it up with, like, healthier, like, alternatives. Like, you don't have to completely cut yourself off from junk food and all that good stuff to be healthy, you know? I feel like you just gotta limit yourself and know what your body needs. And
in nutrition, we don't like to say that there's any good or bad foods, because it ties your morality into it. Like, when people say, like, oh, I was so bad this weekend. Like, no, you yourself are not a bad person. There's just foods that get you to your goals quicker or slower than other foods do. So, like how you said, there are some foods that, like, after a while you eat too much, like, it hurts your tummy, you feel lethargic. Or, like, I know some foods, like, I break out, like, my skin will get so bad. And imagine a friend telling you, like, hey, I am breaking out, I have all these side effects, and you're like, and they say, like, oh, I should probably stop eating this food. And you're like, no, keep eating it. That's, like, your body talking to you, like, hey, like, we don't feel good.
Cut it out.
Can you stop? And then you're like, no.
I will not.
So quite literally listening to your body.
Yeah. I think that's what I love about yoga too. Like, the videos that I watch, it's always about, like, listen to your body. Like, if you're starting to hurt while doing the stretch, stop. Like, don't push yourself too much, because I feel like it does more harm to your body than good.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not letting yourself, like, have, like, what it wants, I guess. But it's also, like, talking about yoga. Like, I think I've told you before, like, I struggle so much with, like, sticking to a set routine. Like, I don't know how you do it. I've always, like, admired that about you. Like, you just, I mean, you work at a gym now,
yeah.
So it's easier. But, like,
It's actually gotten worse since working at a gym.
Oh.
Because I'm there all the time, and I'm like, I don't want to work out because I've been here for 8 hours today.
That makes sense, actually. Yeah. So, like, I don't know, like, what tips do you have for that? I mean.
Yeah, so first it's finding what you like. And doing that. Like, when we were writing our notes, I was talking about the golden circle from Start With Why by Simon Sinek, where in the innermost part of the circle, you have your why, then you have your how, and then you have your what. And the problem that most people face with just about anything, whether it's like body goals or professional goals, financial, whatever it is, everyone always starts with the what. It's like, if we're talking about body, it's like the what is the big butt and snatched waist. How? Working out and eating right. Why? Because social media said so. Like, you can see how that will easily just crumble and fall apart. So you have to start with why. Why do I want to do this habit? Or why do I want to have this lifestyle? And it's because, well, I want to feel confident in my skin, and I want to take up space, like, in an energy manner, right? Or have, like, more energy. Whatever it is, you have to start there. How are you going to do it is the eating healthy and the form of exercise that you actually really like. And then the what is more of like the positive consequence. The what is just like the bonus. The what is the, oh, look at that. Like, I suddenly have like definition in my arms and my legs, or I have more tone in my tummy area. Like, that's just the bonus. The why is like what fuels you and what feels really, really good. So back to sticking to routine is finding that form of physical activity that just like lights you up and you feel like a spark, whether that's hiking or yoga or Zumba classes or lifting weights or running marathons. Like, that's totally up to you and for you to decide.
Yeah, that's why I like do so much yoga now. Like, I just feel like that's what works for me. And I always, whenever I like fall out of it and I'm like, oh, I need to get back on it because I don't like how my tummy looks, I'm getting weight, I always replay in my head how I was ranting to you that one time where I was like, I just want to work out, and you're like, you need to do it for you instead of like doing it because you want to look good for other people, or you want to, I don't know, be fit like the people on Instagram and stuff like that. So I just like say that to myself a lot. Like, that's so important for me, that like I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this because I want to be healthier. I want to move more. I want that energy back, because sometimes I will notice that like if I'm not working out for like weeks on end, like I notice that lack of energy, and then I start picking up yoga again or like dance or something like that, and I'm like more energetic throughout the day. So yeah, that's such a big thing, that like you gotta do it for you. Like, don't focus so much on like other people. That's like easier said than done. Definitely. I'm still working on that. But.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why we're talking about this, because we still compare ourselves to people.
Yeah.
And we keep talking about social media and like doing it for yourself. And if that means taking a break from social media, like, you have to do it. I do it like every weekend where I'm like off of social media for 2 days, because it gets really bad. Where you're so obsessed, where like you find a new girl on Instagram and you're like, oh, I haven't seen this girl before. She's even prettier than the last one, and this is how she's better than me in this way, and she's better than me in this way and that way. And like, that's so toxic to yourself. Like, your body feels that energy, that negative self-talk. It feels it. Like, every cell is absorbing all of that, and it's not good for you.
Yeah, that's me on TikTok. I feel like I need to like take a break from TikTok sometimes. I do, because then I'll be scrolling and like all these skinny girls are coming up on my feed, and I'm like, oh, I don't look like that anymore. And I was thinking about it. Someone once posted on TikTok where if you comment on their posting, like on not like bigger girls, and like medium-sized girls, I guess, not like skinny girls, where you comment on their posting like, you posting this makes me so confident, and they were like, that's not the compliment that you
that's like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah. I was like, I think about that sometimes. I'm like, no, like, I feel like that's so mean. Like, why is it such a good thing? Like, just love their bodies. Like, I never really thought about that, because I used to think that, where I'm like, oh my gosh, they look like me and they're posting, that's so like, not brave, but like that's how people would comment. Like, you're so brave. Like, huh? How? Like, they're just posting as themselves.
Yeah, things like that have honestly kind of had a negative effect on me sometimes. So before I even knew what cellulite was, I remember watching a YouTube video and someone said, like, your cellulite's totally normal. I'm like, what is that? Do I have that? Is it not normal?
Wait a second.
Like, this, like, overly trying to say, like, that's so brave, like, it's normal, you should love that. I'm like, I didn't know that I didn't love that.
Yeah.
But now that you're saying that makes me think that I shouldn't love that.
That's so weird. Like, bringing attention to it isn't helping. I mean, I get it. Like, there are definitely a lot of girls who are, like, insecure about that. Like, I've got stretch marks. Like, when I wear, like, swimsuits, I've got stretch marks on, like, my thighs. And, yeah.
Me too.
And so I'm like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't. And then I just forget about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, like, not, like, accepting it. Like, it's gonna be there. And,
yeah.
You might as well embrace it. And I like to think of it as, like, I've got them because my butt's getting bigger. Mm-hmm. So, like, a positive light on it, I guess.
And did I already say the thing about, like, stretch marks being fingerprints? Yeah. Okay.
That's why I brought it up, because I love it.
So, yeah. So, your stretch marks are just like fingerprints. Everyone in the world has fingerprints. Except I saw this one, like, story on Snapchat where, like, this family doesn't have fingerprints. I don't know how, like...
On purpose?
No, it's, like, a genetic thing where they don't have, like, texture on their skin. It's just, like...
Huh. Like, smooth?
I don't know how real this story was, by the way. Anyways, that's so beside the point. Everyone in the world has fingerprints.
I'm just taking, like, a true crime route, like, you know, for someone to be, like, to cut off, like, their fingerprints so they don't get tracked.
Yeah, so they can't, like...
That's, like, two opposite. Two completely different things.
They have no identity.
Yeah.
And according to Google, somewhere between 50 and 90% of females have stretch marks. So they're very, very common, but they're also very unique. No one in the world has the same fingerprints that you do, and no one in the world has the same stretch marks that you do. They are yours. They are like tiger stripes, and they are yours to own and flaunt because no one else in the world has that pattern.
Yeah.
So love them. Because I'm wondering, I remember I was like normal about them. I was like, okay, I have them. And then the comments of like, stretch marks are normal. I'm like, why are you saying that?
They weren't?
So then I was like, I should be insecure about them. And now it's like, no, they're actually really cute.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I used to like, I would look up like creams.
Yeah.
To like, I don't know what to, like, smooth them out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember, I think my mom would look some up for her. Just because she's had a baby, so obviously she has like stretch marks. But now I'm like, why did I ever?
Yeah.
And I mean, this is all like we said before. Like, it's gonna be easier said than done. Like, loving all of that, all those little things in your bodies. I was almost said flaws. Oh, my brain. No, honey. See, I used to think of them as flaws, but like all those little things that add on to
the uniqueness
who you are and your body and what your body looks like. It's gonna take some time, but definitely like cut yourself some slack. Like, if you have one day where you're suddenly feeling so insecure, like, it's okay. Like, embrace it. That doesn't mean that you're a lost cause. You know, it happens. Like, I feel like there's just some days where I'm like, ugh. Like, I look at myself and I'm like, oh, ew. And then I pick it back up the next day, like, you know what? Then let's work on it. Let's improve on it. What is it that you need to work on that you don't really like? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
and this might sound a little crazy, but I do it, and everyone should do it. You should look in the mirror naked. Look at yourself naked, and just literally flirt with yourself.
Hey.
Be like, wow, your hair's like really pretty. Like, go head to toe and just compliment how amazing this is. You're like, did you know that, like, those legs, you did your 8-hour job on your legs all day today? Like, you were running around? That's crazy. That's awesome.
I've been doing that every morning. I wake up and, like, I feel like that's, like, peak time of when I should compliment myself, because, like, you literally just woke up and you got, like...
To fuel you for the rest of the day.
You got, like, eye boogers and your hair's a mess and everything's a mess. And I look at myself and I'm like, okay.
cutie.
You look cute. You look cute.
And I always do it before my shower because I turn the water on and I wait for it to heat up. So then you're just standing in the mirror like,
oh my god, that's amazing.
hey girl.
Yeah. And we definitely didn't get here like that. You know, like I'm speaking for us both. No, speaking for myself, that like took some time. It's a lot of work in progress where I fall and like let yourself let yourself be. Like I feel like that's like the big thing where you push yourself. Like I push myself too hard and then it doesn't work out because then I'm just burning myself out and nothing's really changing because all I'm doing is feeding it with negativity instead of looking at the positive and looking at the things that I don't like and turning them into positives, I guess.
Yeah. So. And it's still a growing process. Like where I am now is definitely better than where I was before, but I know that there's still room for improvement because there are times where like this one thing that I always say and I need to stop saying it is like, imagine if I was pretty. Like who says that? Like why would you ever go up to someone else and be like, man, if only you were pretty. Yeah. Like you would never say that to anyone else. Why would you say that to yourself?
Literally.
And this is to backtrack a little bit just because you mentioned it. And I wanted to be honest and not like a hypocrite, but I started putting, it's called bio oil on my stretch marks, and it has minimized the appearance of the ones on my inner thighs a little bit. So I feel like in terms of contrast, you know how they're like kind of lighter than your normal skin tone? In terms of that, they like evened out, but you still feel the texture. So if you do want to try minimizing the appearance of your stretch marks, 1, you should still love them. 2, try bio oil. It's in like the scar section by the Band-Aids because that's what I use. But going off of that is, it kind of sounds contradictory that you'd want to like change your body and love it, but you like have to do both at the same time. You can't hate your way to healthy. You can't hate your way to a different body. You have to, like how you've been saying, accept where you are right now. Love this version of yourself, even if you want to, lose weight, get a boob job, do that. Like you still have to love this. Yeah. Because let's say your body does change. Let's say you do get a procedure done or you do lose weight. You might not love yourself once you get there. So you might as well love what you got right now.
So just to end things off, cut yourself some slack. Be kind to yourself, and all of this is going to take some work, like a lot of things. If you really, really need it, like I feel like it's therapy. I feel like you could also seek therapy for this kind of stuff.
You can see nutrition coaches and personal trainers if that is something you're interested in. Right. I feel like there's a lot of things out there that you could do, because I feel like a lot of my issues definitely stem from like mental, like trauma and stuff like that. So like a therapist would be, I feel like, good. But also like I was thinking about it, you're an expert in this sort of. Kind of. I'm more an expert of, that's why I talked about science so much, is because it's like, I know the science behind nutrition, but I'm not like, and yes, I'm a nutrition coach, but I'm not versed in.
You're still learning.
Yeah. I'm not versed in like I don't know what the word is. Like that mental aspect. I mean, like I'm also, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is me with imposter syndrome saying that, no, I don't know enough about the human body, even though I'm a trainer and nutrition coach.
She does. I always go to her for like advice. She always just tells me.
And you should come to us for advice. So I hope you like this video. Hit subscribe to see more videos like this for advice. And remember, don't take any of this too seriously.
Take it with a grain of salt. Use what you can. Use what you want. Ignore the rest. Selective listening. Hello. Use it.
This is the one time.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'm like flaunting my wine. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Ooh, ooh, Oh, quick thing, we're matching. We're wearing matching fits
She got me these for Christmas.
and we thought it'd be so cute.
So here are the sweatpants and the bra top.
And here are the shorts.
And here are the...
And this is the bra. You put your hand behind me so it focuses. Thank you. I'm wearing it too. It's just underneath the jacket. And these are from Made by Meeks on Instagram. I'm gonna tag them because these are so cute and so comfy.
So cute.
Yeah, the sweatpants don't have pockets though, which is not like it's
like I love pockets.
We love pockets.
But it's okay that they don't have.
Yeah.
But the shorts have pockets.
Yeah.
The sweatpants do not. If pockets are something that you like, so
yeah.
Just
and I saw that those are adjustable. These aren't.